Join us for a journey into the unsettling as we explore spine-tingling tales set within the vast aisles and shadowy stockrooms of Costco. In the dim corners of this bustling warehouse, the familiar turns frightening. Strange disappearances and eerie encounters lurk behind towering shelves and locked doors. As the lights flicker and crowds fade, something sinister remains. These stories will grip you with suspense and leave you questioning what truly hides in the places we think we know best. The Disappearing Employee. My name is Miguel. I have 26 years, and I work at a Costco in Texas. I am working in the stockroom for nearly 3 years now, mostly taking care of the shipments and putting the inventory in order. It isn't the most thrilling job, but at least it helps me to pay the bills. The place is huge, with long corridors, workers walking around, and the dim-lit stock areas that look so desolate alone. The truth is, I never paid much mind to it, only until the night Jason went missing. He was one of the workers I was in charge of. A real cool dude, you know, always telling funny jokes and having fun to pass time at work. That night, we were unpacking a new shipment when he told me he was going to the back freezer to pick up something. It didn't even cross my mind until 15 minutes passed, then 20. "Yo, Jason, you gonna eat in there or something?" I shouted, but there was no answer. At first, I thought maybe he was just playing around with me, waiting to jump out and scare me. So I went back there, pulling the heavy freezer door open with all my strength. The freezer was empty. There was no trace of Jason. No footprints on the frosty floor. Just piles of frozen pallets everywhere, the air cold and industrial. And then, I saw it. His phone. It was lying on the ground. The screen was cracked like it had been dumped onto a speeding train in a rush. I got a weird feeling, a cold shiver, not from the freezer, but from something else, something not feeling right. I took out his phone, and its screen was still on. He had been texting someone just a few minutes ago. I looked at the cameras, sure that I would see Jason go in, and maybe leave another way. However, when I glanced at the cameras, a feeling of nausea overwhelmed me. They captured the grainy surveillance video of Jason disappearing into the freezer, and the door never opened again. I watched the video several times. No way to get out except through that door, but he was not there. I called security, freaking out, and they asked me what happened, and I didn't even know what to say. How do you tell someone a guy just disappeared into thin air? They searched the entire store, searching through every aisle and every storage area. No luck. After the clock struck 12 o'clock a.m., then 1 o'clock, Jason was still nowhere to be found. My hand was still holding his phone, but it was like he was just snatched away. It was not until 2 a.m. that one of the security guards called the office with a panicked voice. We found something," he said, voice shaking. We went fast, and the view I saw in the parking lot was that of a trash can. A Costco trash bin, the kind used for broken packaging and damaged goods, was sitting near the loading dock. Now there was blood dripping out of it. Jason was there. He was all huddled up inside, bunched up like trash. His work clothes were soaked with blood. His throat was cut, and his eyes were wide open as if he still was terrified. I stumbled back with my stomach turning. It had been shut all the time. No one entered. No one left it, but nevertheless, Jason was found there. The police came in a hurry, encasing the area and questioning everyone. They were pressing the same questions. How did he get outside? But no one knew the answer. No security doors had been opened, and no alarms had sounded. No cameras caught anyone dragging the body out of there. That last piece of footage was the only thing we had seen. Jason walking into the freezer and then disappearing. I have felt the difference in me all the time since that night. Costco is still where I work. However, I never visit that freezer now. There are times, especially late at night, that I am almost certain I hear Jason's voice calling my name from the back of the stockroom. The hidden note in the receipt. I am Oliver, and I am 31 years old. I live in Denver, Colorado. Till the end of my days, I could be burying away the Costa run of the year. It was that night on a late Wednesday. On my way to the store, I bought my snacks and the necessary domestic elements. The store was not busy, but the employees looked very tired and seemed ready to go off. During checkout, the young cashier, who was clearly tired because of the dark circles around her eyes, was almost silent. As she gave me the receipt, she held my hand tight for a moment, and then whispered, "Look at the bottom." My heart started thumping. She turned away and avoided eye contact. I stepped aside and unfolded the long receipt. The last line, in tiny, nervous cursive writing, said, "Help me. He's watching." And below that, "I'm in the storage room." A terrible chill of horror invasive my body. Could it have been just a sick joke? But no, the horror in her voice was very serious. My heart beating furiously, I came closer to the nearest spoken person. The manager, who turned out to be a short, balding man in a Costco vest. I showed him the receipt. His face became as dark as night. He whispered something and jumped on the phone to the security. Then, all of a sudden, 2 security guards escorted us toward the storage room. A hazy environment where heaps of merchandise were piled up. The place smelled you of the packaging product, and the thick air was tangible. At the beginning, nothing seemed suspicious. But then, the guard did something. He moved a tall stack of dog food bags, and he was motionless. Shit. Behind the bags, hardly noticeable, there was a woman. Her hands and fingers had been tied up, and her mouth had been covered with a gag. On her face, smeared with tears, there was fear rendered. She was imprisoned here for several days. When the officers arrived, the workers quickly locked up the shop. The trembling woman was quickly escorted out and barely managed to mutter some words. The most chilling thing, she had been gone for 3 days. They reported it to her family, but she couldn't be detected, not even via video footage nor witnesses. It looked as if she was blown away. The cashier. The next day, she quit. She never came back, never took calls. The culprit. Forever incognito. Even nowadays, I'm still puzzled. Who was the person watching her? And even more, did the person disappear without a trace, or are they still here? The employee who never clocked out. I'm 28, and I'm a night shift janitor at a Costco in Phoenix, Arizona. It's not the worst job. Cleaning floors, emptying trash, enjoying the quiet. No customers, just an empty store. But last week, something happened that still keeps me up at night. At 2 a.m., I found an employee ID badge near the loading dock. It was dusty, like it had been there for a while. The name, Eric Martinez. I frowned. I knew the night crew, but I had never seen anybody named Eric Martinez. When I saw my manager, Jeff, walking by, I caught his attention. Somebody dropped this. I don't know this guy. Jeff only gave a quick glance to it. Then he went still. His face became white as a sheet. Where did you find that? His voice was hoarse. Near the loading dock, I said. Why? Jeff took a deep breath. Eric left me 3 months ago. I gaped. Left? He was the night shift worker. One night, he didn't clock out. The security saw the tapes. He just disappeared. A cold shiver went down my spine. If Eric had been absent for months, what was his badge doing on the floor all of a sudden? The security office is where I went that night. I asked them to show me the old recordings. Eric's latest footage showed him getting into the break room at 2:47 a.m. He was not found leaving. After that, I looked at the live news from the previous night. At 2:47 a.m., one of the break room cameras showed the reflection of something in the mirror. A shadow. A Costco uniformed man who was looking at the camera in the mirror. However, the room was free of any additional guests. I played the footage again, watched backward. There he was. Eric. Blue eyes which seemed to stare back at me, though there was nothing living behind them. He was still wearing his ID badge that was attached to his shirt. I had just finished cleaning that room. It was completely clean and empty. My heart was pounding while I held onto a security guard. We have to look for trouble in the break room, I said in a hurry. When we entered the space, the lights skipped. No one was there. The guard then suggested, pointing, "What is that over there?" "There," I replied to a supply shelf. Because something was off, I felt it. And then we pushed it to the side. Apart from it, the hidden maintenance closet. Am I supposed to find a bloodstain inside? Oh yes. To scare the new janitor, they've done it. Bloodstains. Black tired rails that crossed the floor. The police were called. They never found the body. Eric left the store. He was kidnapped. The time it occurred is not known. The next night, at 2:47 a.m., the lights flickered. And then in the mirror, but only for a second, I saw him. He was standing behind me. He was moving his mouth. Silent. I spun around. Nothing. But on the table, his ID badge. I quit right away the next morning. Thank you for diving into the darkness with Sinister Tales X. If this story sent chills down your spine, don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts below. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to never miss a new tale of terror. Until next time, stay safe. And remember, the most sinister tales are often closer than you think.